Well, good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, and we are trying to start this week right and get going and just have a productive week all around. It is really cloudy today. It's one of those icky days, but we're not going to let that get to us. I can tell you that we have a very good start to the week because my measurements this morning were great. I'm currently measuring blood pressure and metabolism in the mornings, and just to see how we're doing. It's one of the metrics that we're using to gauge how we're doing in terms of health. And my blood pressure was great, 122/71. That's fantastic. And my lumen, which is my metabolism, was at a 75% fat, 25% carbs, which is a 2 in the 1 to 5 scale for lumen, which is also very, very good. So the last thing that we got to do is get on the scale and see how we're doing. So let me just get ready and do that. All right, let's do this. So first, we're gonna take the hair down, and we're doing no shorts for this. I think we should do like a full body update soon, maybe at the end of this week, to see where we are in comparison to when we started. But we got our lime, and this should be good. So the problem is that I'm still trying to do the, because the scale is in kilos, not in pounds, so I have to translate it. And let's see what we do. Ooh. It's very small, and so it's difficult to stand on it correctly. All right, let's try it again, because this was just weird. $139.6. So that's down from yesterday. Yeah, let's try it again. Make sure that I'm getting on the scale correctly. Yep. 139.6 is what we got. All right. So let's take a look to see what that in kilos, 139.6. All right, kilograms to pounds. And we go 139.6. Oh, wow, look at that. It's 307.7. So let's update our numbers. That's almost 2 pounds from yesterday. 307.7. Data. Ooh, 307.7. Cool. Very nice. So 307.7 is what we got today, 139.6. So yeah, like 1.8 down from yesterday. Okay, so this is only one of the metrics, and this is when things start to get a little tricky, I guess, because I'm not measuring my body composition right now. And as you guys know, the scale going down is only one thing, one very small metric of everything else that we're trying to do in terms of getting healthier. And this is a conversation that we can have a little bit more today when we do our workout, but in terms of what it is to lose weight, I guess, in a healthy way versus losing weight in an unhealthy way that doesn't promote long-term health. And so we can talk about it a little bit more, but I mean, this is encouraging. We were not limiting ourselves, and we're being mindful. maybe slightly less strict than we were when we first started out. But we definitely want to see some of these markers going in the right direction. And so that's one of the ways that we can gauge we're doing things correctly. There are other ones, and we'll talk about them a little bit more. But yeah, this is very encouraging. I'm hungry. Let's go have breakfast. And as it is now our tradition these days, we have our arepa and our 3 fried eggs. And so we are starting our day with some complete proteins, as we call it, and some carbs to fuel the day. And so, yeah, that's basically it. We're gonna have some breakfast, and then we're gonna get to our workout a little bit later. And that's it. We're going to set ourselves up for a good week, and that starts with having a good Monday. So, all right, I'll have breakfast. See you guys in a bit. All right, everyone. It's time for lunch, and we were doing some work upstairs and then realized that we're getting kind of hungry. I was also feeling kind of sleepy, so we decided to go for a walk around the plaza around here you guys saw on Saturday. So we went, did our walk, 30 minutes, which was good. Kind of woke us up a little bit, or woke me up a little bit more. And now we're starting to make lunch. I want to start cooking the quinoa, which we haven't done. And it turns out that we had to wash it, and we didn't have a way to wash it. We wouldn't have like a colander, like a strainer or anything. So Jolima went out and got this little coffee filter, like coffee strainer thingy that it's used. I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of those, but basically this is the way to do coffee, like a very old school homemade way of making coffee. You basically pour ground coffee in here and then pour the water on top of it, and slowly kind of goes through it. Just a coffee filter, but you know, a little more old school. So yeah, so you know, I tried my best. I lost some of the quinoa in there, but we'll see how it goes. I saw that you're supposed to wash the quinoa because it has like a naturally occurring pesticide that can make it bitter if you don't wash it. So that's why I was going through great lengths to wash it. And it's the first time that I'm cooking it. Well, I don't know how it's going to come out, but it's basically like 1.75 to 1 water to quinoa ratio. So one quinoa, 1.75 of water. And we'll see. We're supposed to let it boil and then simmer for 15 minutes and then sort of fluff for 10 minutes. So in the meantime, Delima's helping do some onions. Are you crying for me?
Tea.
And we're going to make a little sort of like a butternut squash soup, not from scratch, but we're making it from this. But, you know, we're adding all of our things. I was thinking that I might make like a roux with the pea protein. I don't know. We'll see what that looks like. Yeah, let me get some of the ingredients. Well, let me get some butter and some pea protein, and we'll make a little roux and see what's up. This is a good spot. I guess so. My hands are all dirty. Let's try to make like a little roux, I guess, if you will, with the some butter and a little pea protein. I really don't know if this is going to work. This is just a you know, I'm probably breaking a lot of culinary things, but I don't know. Seems like we could do this just to give our soup that we're trying to make a little more. And I might have used a little too much. Maybe I used a little too much pea protein for this. I really don't even know if like pea protein can be cooked like this. Okay, our rice, or our quinoa is doing, no, that's not it. Lower the temperature. And now we're just gonna let it simmer for like maybe 15 minutes. ¿Me pones un temporizador de 15 minutos?
Ya.
Sí. So let it simmer for 15 minutes.
Oye, Siri, alarma 15 minutos.
So let's see. We've got our pea protein roux kind of going. We have our quinoa sort of boiling. I mean, that's not exactly a simmer, but it is the lowest temperature we got here. So we're just gonna go with that. It's not horrible.
¿Es esto o es mucho?
It's not terrible. No, it's just fine. Not terrible. And then Jolima is doing the vegetables. She's also going to do some zucchini, and she's doing a little bit of ginger that we're going to do for this. So we shall see what this ends up being. It's an interesting emulsion here. So it's got an interesting smell. Pretty benign, I guess. We'll see. We will see. Well, it looks like the quinoa is almost ready, so we're supposed to turn off the heat and put on the lid and just kind of let it fluff. This is what our sort of pea protein roux looks like. And so the plan, I guess, is to cook some of this meat that we have here and some of the vegetables, and then we'll add the butternut squash thingy, water, and some collagen, some pea proteins, and that's it. Just we'll see what that soup turns out like. I don't know. Oh, it's maybe some seeds. We haven't used the seeds because I keep reading that it's better to like grind the seeds in order to get the most nutrients out of it, but I can't fucking find a way to grind them, and so I keep not using them. But I'll use some of them today, and we'll see. All right. Okay. So time is up. Let's turn off the heat here, and let's put this on and get it off the heat, and that's it. All right, let me let it rest, and then we'll make the rest of the soup. All right, and we have our quinoa, and it looks pretty good. Looks fluffy enough. I'm gonna transfer it to this. Hopefully that'll be enough, because we're gonna use this to make our soup. All right, how are we gonna do this? I feel like I'm going to make a mess, and if I am going to make a mess, I'm going to at least document it. Well, you look at that. All right. Yeah, it smells interesting. It smells good. I mean, I've had quinoa before, but I've never made it myself, so. But it smells good. And intéressant. Très intéressant. All right. Okay, so we're gonna let our quinoa just kind of sit there, and let's make some so the rest of it. So I'm gonna add the beef and the veggies. Let's see, how do we start this? Is this pretty unfrozen? Yeah, I think so. We can start there. All right, give me a sec. All right, let's get going with our ghee. Do some be in here so that we can start cooking our meat. Jolima tells me that the meat is cubed already. It was just something that was frozen. So we'll do this. We'll start cooking the meat. And then add our veggies and stuff. And that is it. I gotta turn this baby on the old school way. This thing is not. There we go. Why are you not getting the whole? Weird. It's like something's up with it. That's okay. All right. Let's get this meat going. Make sure that it gets cooked all the way. The only thing that I'm not loving about this stove is that that's how you got to turn on. And now this one doesn't even have all the not the burner, but all the little holes going at the same time. It's all right. Okay. All right, let me get this going first. Sort of brown the meat, add the veggies, and then we'll continue in a minute. We got ginger, zucchini, some green onions, and some white onion. And we just want to add this baby slowly. Yep, it's very easy to make a mess like I just did. There's onions everywhere. Yikes. Oh well. I mean, it is what it is. Let me just maybe use some of this to get some of those onions back. Now I'm gonna burn myself just to get a couple onions back. It is not worth it. Not worth it. So let's cook these guys and reduce them. Cook and reduce. And then we will add our things. I'm going to add some things actually now. Mainly just a little bit of fish sauce, because, you know, flavor. And yeah, that's basically it. Oh, that is stinky. Okay, now we got all the burners, or not the burners, but all the holes in the burner have fire going, so that is good. That is good, 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 you guys. So now, let this guy go. We'll add a little bit of, we'll add our roux. We'll add our water and our little butternut thingy. Some more pea protein, some more collagen, some seeds, some of the dry mushrooms, and we'll have a delectable soup. Now let's add our roux. I don't even know if this is allowed to be called a roux, but it is butter and like a floury substance, so, you know, just saying. Just saying. Okay. right. And we keep going with these things we are doing. We are doing. Okay, so now let's start adding some water, shall we? I believe it's time. So we add a little bit of that. Actually, let's add one more. And get this baby going. I noticed that we have this little mushroom flavoring open from some time before, so let's add it to get some of that. Just kind of using stuff that is open. And mix it in. You know, I really was never a soup kind of person growing up. And now, the older I get, especially since we started this back in the States in February, I'm becoming much more of a soup person. So it is interesting. My mom would get such a kick out of it because... All right. We got this whole thing in there. Let's do it. Let's mix it in. Let's mix it all in. And then we'll add a little more water if we need to. I mean, it's a pretty packed soup. It's not just a soup, but... it's gonna get really thick. And we still got some things to add. So I'm gonna add some of these mushrooms now. Some of these dried mushrooms. Maybe we can lower the heat. I like to take these dry guys and break them up a bit. Ow. Before putting them in here. They are so flavorful. So flavorful, you guys. These little dry mushrooms. So these are the weird creations of that we are making and trying to make some nutritious food for weight loss. Okay. This is done. I'm gonna put it back here. Yeah, we definitely should put a little more water in here because it's looking very creamy. So let's get more water, and we still want to get some collagen and some pea protein in there, or some more pea protein in there, I guess. And so a little more water. Oh, fuck. Nah. Delima was making fun of me earlier because she said that anytime that I'm doing something, she's always like in the other room, and something always bangs, and she's like, and then after blah, blah, something always bangs, and I go like, oh fuck, and so she makes fun of me for that. Boté la taza dentro de la olla. Una tacita que estoy echando para echar el agua. Anyway, all right. Let's get the pea protein and the collagen in here. And then we'll get it in there and then we'll taste it. So let's get one, and let's get another. Oh, come on. And then some collagen. Two, let's get another in there. Beautiful. Beautiful, you guys. All right. So we mix these babies in, making sure that they're all nice and dissolved. We don't want any weird pockets of flour, although, you know, this can happen. It does happen, especially like adding it like this. But that's all right. Well, continue mixing and trying to break them up. So basically this is it. This is what we're doing, but we needed to let it cook for a little while longer. This is what it's looking like. Yeah, I'm getting some clumps in there. Not ideal, but maybe as they cook, they might. Oh, and before we keep going, just let's add some seeds. So let's add some chia seeds, just a little bit. Why not? And then we'll add some of the other seeds. I think these are like sunflower seeds. And let's just add some of our flax seeds. And then that's it. We just let it cook for a while. There we go. All right. So this is what it looks like. What is wrong with me? I can't talk today. And it's going to be a delicious soup, giving us some fairly good nutrition, I believe. Just let it cook. Just let it cook. Let it go. Oh, we haven't. Oh no, yeah, we have the meat. I was gonna say like, oh, we haven't even added any meats, but yeah, no, we do have meat in here. I have forgotten. Sorry, guys. Too many things going on all the time, and I just don't know. All right, let's let this cook for a while. I'll be back. The last thing I'm gonna add that I forgot is I just added 2 more cups of water, and I'm gonna add a few of these tablespoons of quinoa. How do I always manage to make such a mess? You know, Jolima's right. I make such a mess. Damn it. All right, one more. It's gonna be pretty good. Okay. Now that's it. Now we can sort of let this ride. We can let it ride. And damn, this thing has everything. Everything. It's a weird recipe. I wonder if, in a few months or weeks or whatever, we'll end up with a bunch of like weird recipes that we'll try to remake. I don't know. Are you guys keeping track of any of this? Is anyone taking notes? Because I am not. But we'll see if it's tasty. See if it's tasty enough. All right, let's let it sit, or cook for a little while, and see you guys in a bit. All right, and here we have it. We have our little soup. Let's try it and see how it is. It's pretty thick. We see plenty of seeds and quinoa and stuff. Yeah?
No,
¿Está rico? Yeah, that's good. That is pretty good. Yeah. Not bad, you guys. Oh, Dolima can't have her soup without some avocado. ¿Está bueno o no? No. We bought some avocados and they turned out to be a waste, a total waste. They're not good. She's saying it would have been perfect because she likes her soup with avocado. It's a very Colombian thing. This is pretty good, guys. So I'm gonna eat it, rest for a bit, and then we'll get into our workout together. All right, see you in a bit. All right, you guys, I am sorry. It's getting a little late, and I was starting to get a little lazy, and I was procrastinating. I didn't want to come and do the workout. It's basically already dark outside, and I don't like doing it this late, but I was dragging a little bit today. I also have a lot of work to do, and so that just kind of makes it a little difficult. But I am a man of my word, and so I'm gonna be. Ooh, sorry about that. There's some huge, crazy traffic because there's a protest in the plaza in front of Congress. And so this street gets really backed up and people get impatient. So sorry about the noise. But all right, let's do it. Let's just get into it. Let's do our workout. It's only a good 20 minutes and that's it. And let's try to do it quickly. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, I am a little tight today. So if I remember correctly, earlier this morning, we were talking about using this time to talk about healthy versus unhealthy fat loss. And honestly, I feel like there's so much going on these days that everything is kind of a blur. I don't know what's what or when I said what. And so I apologize if I don't make a lot of sense sometimes. So why did I want to talk about this? Oh, I remember. Because we were sort of measuring ourselves, getting on the scale, and doing all these things. And I just remember thinking that would be something good to talk about, which a lot of you probably already know, but it's not a bad idea to remind ourselves, also to remind myself. All right, let's do another set. We're gonna get through this quickly today because I am feeling lazy. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And so hand hurts a little bit. I don't know why that is. So we're talking about getting on the scale, and this part is always tricky because we all want to see the scale go down, right? We want the number on the scale to be going down. But that might not always be a good thing. That's not necessarily a good thing, because what we really want is to exchange the extra fat that we have, like get rid of that and put on more muscle. So that's always interesting, because there are many ways that we could technically be losing weight and just completely ruining ourselves from the inside. I don't know, like you could not eat anything and do cocaine for a long time, and that would technically make you lose weight. It just would not be healthy in any way. So that's why I keep trying to put the emphasis on becoming healthier, and then have the weight loss sort of be a byproduct of getting healthier. But we do have to be able to track some of these things. And the easiest one, or one of the easier ones to track, is the weight. And so we want to make sure that we're doing all the things that are, oh God, it's so loud. We want to be doing all the things that we're trying to do to lose weight in a healthy way, and not focus on just losing the weight, because that can also lead to some destructive mental patterns where, you know, the number on the scale becomes the whole thing. And that is such a minuscule part of the entire thing that it can be dangerous, especially if you are dealing with some mental things like most of us do that got us in here in the first place. So, all right, let's do our third set. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Whew. And so, we don't want to fall into like, oh Lord, you guys were quiet, and the moment I start talking, you start honking. So we were going to, sorry, I completely lost my train of thought. Focusing on the number on the scale, which we all do, you know, I'm guilty of it, of course, as everyone else is, can be a bit of a problem, because are we going to end up doing things that perhaps are not in our best interest just so that we can see that number go down? Just try to turn on more lights. You know, is that happening? And so that's why we have to make sure that we have that in check, so that we don't fall into those destructive patterns. And one of the best ways to help in losing weight is exchanging your fat mass for muscle mass. So your, you know, lean mass, because muscle basically burns more calories than fat. You know, the more muscle you have, the moment you start putting on muscle, your basal metabolic rate starts going up. And so that's basically one of the things that we're trying to focus on. Also, if you're losing weight in a consistent but healthy way, you are going to be, you know, putting on some kind of muscle. And so that'll be ideal, I guess. I am so eloquent today. I'm full of it tonight. Number 4. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. And so doing something like this, some kind of bodybuilding, like muscle building exercise, is probably going to help you build muscle, which then in turn is going to help you lose a little bit more fat. But that means that we also have to focus on eating enough protein. Because if we're not eating enough protein, then we're not going to be making any gains in the muscle department. So that's something that I see suggestions all over the place, and it's always difficult to know like what is what. But I think that it's fair to say, or easy to say, that most of us are a little deficient in the protein department and could be eating more complete proteins. And so that's why in these meals that I'm making at home and the shakes that I used to make back in the States and all that, I always try to make sure to include multiple different sources of protein and, like as much protein as I can pack in there. So like we had eggs this morning, and then for lunch we had beef, and we also had the pea protein, and we had some collagen, and these things that are going to help our goals. And so like that's where it gets tricky sometimes, because we might be like, that's probably not the case, but if you're doing a lot of like strength training exercises, bodybuilding exercises, and eating adequate amounts of protein, you might be putting on a lot of muscle, which weighs a lot more than fat. And so day to day, your scale, just the number alone, in a scale like this that doesn't have any body composition features or anything, is not going to show you if you're making any real progress. And so that's why only having the scale can be a little tricky, because it's only measuring one number, and the scale, like this one, doesn't care exactly how you're losing that weight. It's just showing you the number. Are you losing a lot of muscle? If that's the case, the number could be going down very quickly, and you might be feeling like, holy shit, I'm doing really great. And in fact, you're maybe hurting yourself. And so that's always tricky. That's always been tricky for me. And that's why I didn't want to focus only on this, because either out of ignorance because you don't know, or because the demon in your head doesn't let you or makes you do unhealthy things, it's easy to end up doing things that we shouldn't do in terms of health, just to see that number go down. So, all right, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Whew. And so, one of the things that I am trying to measure, I haven't done it since I got to Argentina, and if you guys have been following for a while, you know that I have this ridiculous suit that's supposed to help me measure all my body parts. And so the thing is that if the number isn't moving on the scale, but I'm losing fat and building muscle, the number might not change much, but my measurement, how big my belly is and my arms and my legs and stuff, might be changing. And so that's one way to do it. The problem is that measuring yourself is such a pain in the ass, and it's so difficult to be accurate. And we're also talking about very small changes in your measurements. Like if you're measuring your thigh, measuring in the exact spot is difficult every time, unless you have, like a professional who knows how to do it every time. And so like that's very tricky, and you might just be, we're talking about like a quarter of an inch or less, and so that's why I have this ridiculous suit that I'll be using on Wednesday to measure my body. It helps sort of take the guesswork out of it a little bit. I am still not super convinced how accurate it is, how good it is, but you know, it's something to work with. And so that way we can see that things are maybe going in the right direction. Let's do one more. Yeah, this wrist hurts a little bit. All right. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 6, 57, 58, 59, 60. Whew. And so that is the thing with protein that is tricky to get enough. And I keep seeing in a lot of different places that the recommended daily amount, especially in the US, I don't know about the rest of the world, but especially in the US, the recommended amounts are just like the bare minimum we should be eating, and we need to be eating like a lot more than that, and it's not easy. So that's where supplements come in. And so for me, like the soup that we made today for lunch, adding that pea protein is helping add extra protein in there in a way that's barely noticeable. And so, you know, if we have enough of that throughout the days and we're varying, because there's also the differences between animal proteins and vegetable proteins. And again, a lot of the stuff that I'm reading, because I am not an expert, talks about how some of the plant proteins might be deficient in some of the essential amino acids, and so you do have to supplement it, especially if you're not eating any animal proteins, but I am. And so I'm hoping that the animal protein that I'm eating is enough for my nutrition needs, and then I can bulk up on the rest with some of the supplements, which at this point are only the pea protein and the collagen. But I'm also thinking, like, should I be adding some kind of whey protein isolate or something like that? I don't know. What do you guys think? What kind of protein supplements do you guys take, or how do you, or is that something that you even do? Worry about your protein intake? I don't know. It's like a fucking rabbit hole. The more you think about it, the more you discover how little you know and how much there is, because bodies are so complex. And so it is always tricky. Ooh, here we go. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, and 70. And so that's sort of where we are today. I added, finally, you guys saw the seeds that we bought to the little soup that we had today. They were fine. They're not terrible. Not really unpleasant at all. I think the quinoa was a little plain, I guess. I mean, the directions that I followed were basically add the quinoa, the water, and boil, and that's it. And I thought, well, since I'm going to be making it as part of something else, it doesn't really need anything else. But I don't know if in the future I need to make it in a different way to make it a little tastier from the start. I guess that remains to be seen in terms of taste. But the soup was delicious because it had a bunch of other stuff. And so the soup itself was delicious, and I think it had pretty good amounts of everything. But again, I'm not measuring everything, so that's what makes me a little nervous sometimes. It's good that it's keeping me, you know, on a better trajectory for nutrition, as opposed to the first like week and a half that I was here, where things were just kind of like all over the place. And it is difficult here in Argentina because, man, the bakery game is so high. Fucking pastries, they're called facturas here in Argentina. Well, at least here in Buenos Aires. I don't know if it's actually all over Argentina, but at least here. And they're so good. Their pastry game is so great, and so it made it very difficult. And you know, one thing leads to another, and then before you know it, you're kind of out of control. So getting back into it was difficult, but here we are. We are doing it. We are doing it. Have you guys? Well, I'll ask the question in a minute. Let me do another set. 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80. Have you guys thought about how long this is going to take? I mean, because 150 pounds, it's a lot of fucking weight. 150 pounds is no joke. And so, you know, especially we're doing it on the slower side. And so the reason I'm thinking about this is because I'm keeping the day that we're in the title, mostly so I remember, because it's managing a lot of like different stuff. And so it can get complicated sometimes because like I don't always edit all the videos the day that I'm making them. And so sometimes it gets a little confusing, and I try to keep everything straight by keeping the number in there. But we are going to be getting pretty close to the 100th video. And that's something that when I first started, I said to myself, you're making the commitment for 100 videos. That is the commitment that you're making. You're going to commit yourself to making 100 videos on 100 consecutive days. And that's all the commitment that we're making, you know. Of course, we're not going to stop there, but before this started, I had to make it tangible somehow. And that's the number that to me seemed like, okay, if by day 100 we're not motivated enough to keep going with this project the way that we're doing it, I don't know what could make it happen. And so just seeing that we're getting close to that number, and it's going to be coming up basically in less than a month, made me start thinking about like, I wonder how long this is going to take. You know, it's a lifelong commitment, but I mean, like, at what point do we go and do our final, and I don't even know what our final thing is going to be, but final, where we decide like, okay, this is an ideal weight that we're going to try to maintain. My muscle mass is good. Muscle mass is good. My fat percentage, body fat percentage is good. All my metrics are perfect. My health is in peak condition. And I wonder how long it's going to take. I mean, I do not know. What do you guys think? I want to hear your thoughts. How long do you think it'll be? 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. And what should we do to celebrate our 100th day? Is it bad that everything that I can think about in terms of celebrating milestones for weight loss is binging? Am I really that fucked? Or does that happen to you guys too? I'm like, oh, we should celebrate with pizza. It's like we're celebrating trying to lose weight, and all I can think about is eating. I don't know if that's like the healthiest thing ever or the saddest thing ever. But I'm telling you, that's the first thing that crossed my mind. I remember, this is funny, it's a funny anecdote. There was a documentary on Netflix. We're talking about, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or before actually, more, I don't know. It was called Sick, Fat, and Nearly Dead, I think is what it was. It was an Australian filmmaker, and he was basically trying to reboot his health by going on a, however long, I think it was a 3-month juice fast, where he was only drinking vegetable and fruit juices. And I remember at the end of the documentary, he broke his fast by eating an apple. So he'd been on this liquid diet for 3 months. I believe it was 3 months. And then he finally decided to break his juice fast and eat. And the first solid that he had was an apple. And, it seemed to make a lot of sense for the documentary, and the stuff that he was doing. And he was basically trying to reset his health. And so that made sense. Now, I'll tell you something funny in a minute. Let me do my last set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 100. Whew. And all right, 100, but we got to do our bicep curls. Let's just get straight into it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so at some point, I did multiple juice fasts in my life. But at one point I said, fuck it, I'm going all out like this dude did. And I actually did a motherfucking juice diet like he did for 3 months. And it's crazy, probably terribly unhealthy, honestly. In terms of nutrition, I was probably very malnourished. I remember having horrible dreams. But anyway, when I decided to break my fast, when I reached the 3 months, I remember I went and got McDonald's breakfast. And it was so glorious when it was going in. And then I was so sick for like 3 days after that. Like so sick. I mean, it was coming out of all ends. And so it's just, he was able to break his fast with an apple. I broke it with McDonald's, and holy shit, my innards were not happy. And so it's just interesting how we have different approaches to things. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm going to keep going. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I want to feel the burn a little more. Whew. And so, yeah, that was my foray into the juice fasting world. And yeah, it was not pretty, but I did it a couple times. I mean, I only did the 90-day one once, but I remember I did other attempts at a juice fast, and they were hard and they were miserable. And I don't know, what do we think when we do these things? What are we thinking? It's so difficult to be a human in the modern world with a caveman's brain. It is so hard. All right, let's do our last. Let's see if we can do all the way to 50. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50. Oh, yeah. We did it, you guys. One more workout done. We have not missed one since we started this. Okay, let me just rest for a moment. We'll make some dinner, and that'll be it. Monday is done. Good job, guys. All right, and after that workout, we need to have some dinner, but I don't really know what to make. So I think I'm just gonna go for some tuna with mayo, olive oil, and Jonima bought some crackers, so she'll probably eat some crackers. I might have a cracker too. But yeah, basically that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, let's make that. All right, let's see if we can get this thing going. It's one of those old school can openers. This one's a little rusty. Or, I don't know if rusty, but it's just let's get some of the juice out for the tuna. Oh, it's rough. It's a little hard. Okay. All right, one down. Oh shit. One down. Let's get the rest of the juice out. And now let's get the other one. This is the second one. And so now we have 2 cans of tuna that we gonna eat. Where is this tuna from? It's imported. Product of Thailand. Look at that. This tuna coming all the way from Thailand. All right. Let's get the tuna out and just make ourselves a nice little tuna. Okay. Let's get these guys out. Let's get the other one. This shit is not cheap here in Argentina. I know that, I don't remember how much I paid for this can of tuna, but it was not cheap. I think it was like, I don't know. Actually, I don't know how much tuna is in the US, so it might not be that cheap there. I think I paid like maybe $3 per can. Is that bad? It looks bad to me in terms of how expensive it is. All right, let's get a healthy amount of olive oil going in here. Oh no, the little paper. Okay, just toss this. Okay, so we have some nice olive oil. It's really fancy Argentinian olive oil. Laur. It's supposed to be pretty good. I mean, it is pretty good. I don't know what I'm saying. It tastes really good, but I guess what I was trying to say before my brain got distracted by the tuna was that it's supposed to be a very good quality brand. It tastes really good, but with olive oil, with all the shit that goes on, all the mafia around olive oil and some olive oil not being real olive oil and stuff, you never fucking know anymore. But this is supposed to be some quality shit. Some quality shit. All right, now let's add some mayonnaise. Oh, you know what I'm gonna add? I'm gonna add some hummus to this shit. Okay, so this is like a smoky mayo with notes of garlic and onion. So we can go ahead and let's add some of this, and let's add some of this liver pate. That's actually pretty good. Jolima didn't really seem to mind it last time, nor did she really notice that it was in there. And so, yeah, it's pretty good. It smells pretty good. And then we'll add some of this delicious hummus. And it'll be a nice little spready spread. Oh, come on. So now we have tuna, olive oil, some Spanish liver and beef and pork pate with fine herbs, some mayo. We got some hummus. Pretty good, actually. This lemon, I wonder, can we use this? I mean, it's looking a little old, but we can cut some of the, and I'm sure the inner part of that lemon's still good. Okay, so here we go. Let me cut. I know that Jolima doesn't like to toss these. She's very anal about recycling, but I let her do it. Alright, let me cut this lemon, see if we can get to the good part. Yeah. You can just toss this bit, and the rest of it is still good. Yeah. Get rid of the seeds so they don't get... Me asustaste. Oh, she scared the shit out of me. See? She's like, are you filming? She scared the shit out of me. I am such a jumpy fuck. Oh, that's hilarious. Me asustó. Y salté y todo. She's like, oh, you were so quiet, I thought you weren't filming. I am very jumpy. I am extremely skittish. Okay. So what else do we need to go in here? No, I wanted to do... Okay, so we need to do a little bit of salt, because this doesn't have any salt in it. This is salt with garlic and laurel. I don't even know what laurel is. Laurel. Is that... That can't be. And let's add as well some of this smoked paprika for some color. It smells pretty good. Ooh, and you know what? Let's add some pepper. Some black pepper. And I believe this is going to be delicious. All of these things combined make for a nice little spreadable. Another good addition to this is avocado, but avocados are hard to get here in Argentina. They're just not the right, like, they're hard to get. I mean, they're hard to get anywhere, I guess, except in Colombia. I mean, fuck, Colombia has the best fucking avocados. They're plentiful, they're perfect every day, they're cheap, you know, just beautiful. But here it's hard to get them right, and so we don't really buy them anymore because we keep buying them and tossing them because they're just, I don't think they know how to pick them. They're too green, and then they don't ripen, and they basically spoil before they ripen. So, okay, this looks to be about right. It's a little dry. Need to maybe add a little more olive oil. But this is basically a fatty tuna. And I believe the pate is fully, like, broken apart. Make sure that she just doesn't get any chunks of pate, because she definitely... Well, I don't know if she wouldn't like that. She doesn't like the concept of it. But I know that when we were in Spain a couple of years ago, her cousin's husband bought some, and I know she ate it without knowing what it was, and she liked it. Just the concept of it freaks her out. Okay. Well, this is basically it. This is what we're going to be eating for dinner, you guys. She got some crackers, just some like regular, literally it says classic crackers. Classic crackers. Sounds like an insult. Let's taste this. Make sure that it's delicious. I think it will be, but you know, you never know. Oh yeah. The pate and the smoked paprika. Damn, that shit is good. Okay. So we have our spreadable, and we are going to call it a day. I'm gonna call her down. We are going to eat some dinner, and I will probably leave it at that. Tomorrow we're going to ping pong. And so I want to take you guys to the ping pong, but it just, I'll try to film a little bit. I'm still fairly new, and I don't know if people are going to get uncomfortable with me filming, and so I don't know. We'll see. But let's leave it at that for now. Thank you guys for another wonderful day. Thank you for doing the workout with me. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you tomorrow.